Hi, I'm Carrie Johnson, and I'm the 4-H Extension Educator here in Canyon County, Idaho. And this video is for people who are in 4-H and FFA who are registering for the 2019 Canyon County Fair. So this is just a tip video, but there's lots of information online. So check out the information below this video for links to websites for our fair guide, for information on the market livestock sale and the market livestock sale flyer, and all sorts of other things. So if you have any questions, the contact information will be below. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and dive into our website. So I'm going to share a quick screen with all of you. And if you came to our fair last year, you're going to be familiar with this, at least some. So the website to check out is canyonsale@fairwire.com. And that's also going to be on the tip sheet. So if you're not sure where that is, it is right up here in the corner, but you can also go to that tip sheet and information below. So just a couple of things to highlight here. Obviously, you've got to know the dates and deadlines for when things are due. So this year, our horse entry deadline is June 17th by 5 p.m. Normally it's June 15th, but that is a Saturday this year, so we're going to make it due the Monday after. So our animal deadline, and that includes our non-animal displays for animal projects, and our family consumer science and miscellaneous entries deadline is June 1st by 5 p.m. And our family and consumer sciences and miscellaneous entries are required to be entered online this year. That's new. So keep that in mind, help remind other people in your club, and we'll get it all taken care of. So a couple of other important things here on this page to point out. Clover buds, so that's our 5 to 7 year olds as of January 1, are only eligible to show cats, KBs, dairy goats, dogs, poultry, pygmy goats, and rabbits, and that's only for showmanship. So hopefully you're already familiar with that, but in case, it's right there for you. A couple of really important websites that you can find here on this page are our online entry instructions and our exhibitor guide. So that exhibitor guide will be posted as of May 15th on the Canyon County Fair website, and the link is right there for you. And then we will have some printed copies available for individual exhibitors starting after June 1st. So there's going to be about a 15-day window there, 15, 16 days where it's only available online, but that will be okay. We've got plenty of time between then and when fair entries are due if you've got to have a paper copy. So other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started with just an example. So there are some things that have changed this year, but sign-in is exactly the same. So if you did sign in last year to do online fair entries, your account is gone. So you do have to sign up for a new account. And we just did that because people forget passwords and it's just kind of a pain. So we're going to start fresh every year. So up here in the right-hand corner, you're going to click sign in, and it'll take you to this page I'd already gone to. And we're going to go ahead and select I'm A, and you're going to choose exhibitor. And you might notice we did take away group enrollments this year. It just didn't quite work the way we thought it might. So we've simplified things and just choose exhibitor. So we are going to sign in using our name, and I'm just going to go ahead and type myself in, and I'm a new exhibitor. So I'm going to hit continue, and we're just going to make up a password here. Make sure that they match. Okay. It's going to tell you until it matches. So make sure you put your address. And again, it's really, really important, just like last year, that this is your address, that if you have a market livestock sale animal, that this is the address that you want your check mailed to. This will be the second year that we mail checks out, and you got to make sure that that address is correct. So county, make sure you type in either Canyon or Ada. Okay, and I'm going to send this to my email address. And we are going to put in a date of birth. And we're going to just say, oh, let's say 2005. So this is an important question. Have you shown an animal before? And this is so that we can tell if you're a novice or not, because novices have not shown an animal before, except maybe as a clover bud. So, okay, you get to double check your information, make sure that's correct, and then go ahead and continue. So from here, we're gonna choose a department. So obviously, we're broken down into many, many different things here. So you can choose between clothing, foods and nutrition, miscellaneous, which is things like leadership, citizenship. So that's where you'll find your KYG if you're a KYG kid, and a lot of your art projects. So other than that, you can choose your species. And so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to choose a simple one. So let's go ahead and enter in with cat showmanship. So this is a really easy one because cats can only be done in showmanship. So the nice thing this year that we tried to do was we tried to make all of our showmanship classes really easy to spot. So you can choose FFA, you can choose novice, and you can see we have the age breakdowns here for you, or you can even choose clover bud. So go ahead and just select that. You can select which county you're in, which club you're in, and all of our clubs should be listed on there. If for some reason they are not, please let us know, and we will make sure we get that updated. So I'm gonna just say that Fuzzy is my cat's name, and that's going to be the ID in the system. So that was easy. That was one entry. So we can do, from here we can do a similar entry, add an entry, or continue. And we're going to go ahead and do it at a different entry. And I'm going to choose a different department. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of our more difficult departments to enter in, which is horse. So horse, just like any other animal, the first thing you always have to sign up for is showmanship. So every species should have a showmanship class. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to enter into our horse showmanship. So you can double check there. You've clicked on horse showmanship. And let's say that this time I'm a junior. I'm in the county club. It auto-filled for me. That's awesome. And so we're going to enter in our horse spot, which is important. We need to put in our horses' names and their ages, and that's so that we can keep track of which horse is which for your different entries. We will assign numbers after all of the entries are in, but we need something to tell each horse apart. And since we have that on your horse entry form, if you're in horse, we can easily match that up. So let's go ahead and add that one. So let's say that we need to now enter into some other horse classes. So we can go ahead and add a similar entry. So that kept in mind that I was in horse. So from here, I can go ahead and enter into another horse class. So all of your different options are here: bareback equitation, English equitation, all the way down to Western pleasure. And this is where, if you're new to horse 4-H, make sure you absolutely check your fair exhibitor guide. If you have questions, call the office. We will help you figure out which classes you're eligible for. So let's say that we enter into in-hand trail. And I am going to enter in my 2-year-old horse that I have. And this is our different horse. So we'll just call him, I'll call her Lizzie. This is Lizzie, my horse, and Lizzie is 2. So big tips here with horse. If you have more than one horse and you're not sure which horse is going to be eligible, or you want to enter them in and you want to have the option of scratching them at the gates, be sure that you make more than one entry. Now that particular allows us to make a duplicate. So we're gonna enter in Lizzie, but let's say that we're not quite sure, and for in-hand trail, we want to go ahead and enter in our yearling as well. So make sure that you enter in both horses. We can scratch them later, but if you don't enter them in the first place, then it can become a problem. So, and that can be the same thing. If you have 2 market animals and it is June 1 and you're trying to get your fair entries done and out of the way, but you're not sure which one you want to take to fair yet, please go ahead and just enter them both in. It's just easier for your peace of mind to have them both entered in before July 1, so that you have that option to choose still as you get closer to fair. So I always encourage people to enter in more animals than not. So let's go ahead and finish this entry, and we're going to call this one Pepper. And Pepper is a year old now, so we're going to go ahead and enter this horse. So for the most part, that's a pretty easy process. You know, it's important that we get all of these different entries in. If you're in, let's say, let's do a market animal. So let's choose a sheep. So again, always start with showmanship. We're going to choose a class. Let's say that we're in FFA this time. And the neat thing about this is if you are in FFA and in 4-H, or you are in multiple clubs for different projects, you can easily go in here and choose. So I'm going to go ahead and say, since I'm showing as FFA, I'm going to just go ahead and choose Caldwell FFA for this example. And we're going to go ahead and get entered in for showmanship. Easy. So we're going to go ahead though, because now that we're entered into showmanship, we've got to enter into our sheep market or breeding class, because you've got to have that quality. So I've gotten my sheep put in for market sheep. I've done my showmanship. So let's say that we have tag number 25. This is an optional field. As you can see, there's a blue there. So if you're not sure what weight it was, don't worry, we can enter those in later from initial weigh-in information. So go ahead, add this entry, and if you have more than one sheep and you're still, again, as we already talked about, you're not sure, just go ahead and add in that other sheep. And if you get lost at any point, you can see here on the left-hand side all of the different entries that I've done so far and our total cost that you're going to be asked to pay at the end. So you can just kind of keep track of that as you're going. So we're going to go ahead and let's do a quick example of a miscellaneous project. So those other non-animal type projects. So we're going to go ahead and let's say that we enter in for our personal development and citizenship. So let's say that we went to the Know Your Government project conference this year, and you're completing your project, which you all should. All of these projects are named this year the exact same way that they are in 4-H Online. So our 4-H members, this should be pretty easy for you to do. And if you're not sure, go check 4-H Online and you'll find out exactly which project you are. In this example, I went to the Know Your Government conference, and I'm an 8th or 9th grader, so I'm doing just the basic projects. I'm going to choose the Exploring Citizenship, and I'm going to go back to my 4-H club, and I'm just going to enter that in. And the neat thing about this is, let's say that we're in a clothing project, and I am in the very first sewing expressions under construction, and I want to enter in one of my projects. Well, let's say though that I sewed 2 different things. So if you are in a non-animal FCS project, you do actually now have the option to bring 2 items to fair. One must meet the project requirements that you have on your project requirement sheet, but the other item can be anything that you made or learned to make during your project year. So go ahead and enter both of those in. You're going to bring 2 items. This will give us a heads up so we can make sure we have plenty of space in that area in O'Connor. And it doesn't cost anything. So pretty cool. So just go ahead, go through, make sure you have all of your different fair entries done. And when you're done, go ahead and click continue. Now you're not done yet, as the red box is alerting you. Go through and review everything on here. Make sure that you have both showmanship and quality, or showmanship in all of your different horse classes for each animal. So you can double check here. I've got ID tag number 25. Should I have entered number 26? You can go back and you can add more entries here at the bottom. If you made a mistake, you can go ahead and you can delete one of those. It's really fast, but make sure you really do want to delete that. So once you've reviewed this and you double check, you can go ahead and we can go to checkout. Just really quickly, a couple of things that changed this year. So for our sheep classes, you'll see there's no cost to that. A lot of our market animals and things like that, we're starting to collect entry fees ahead of time. For our small animals and for our non-animal projects, such as our leadership and our clothing project here in our example, we have some wonderful donors who are helping us pay for these fair entries. So please say thank you to everybody who has supported us in this. So we're going to go ahead and move on, and we're going to check out. You can go ahead and you can pay later, but I really recommend that you go ahead and pay now so you don't forget. And this is going to take you to an online payment method. You need a card to pay. If you have some issues with availability of a card, please let our office know. We'll help you out with figuring that out. But otherwise, go ahead, make sure that you finish all the way through. Be sure that you let your club leader know that you have entered if you're not entering at a club meeting. There are 4-H or FFA. If you're an FFA member in the summer, make sure that your advisor knows over the summer, because what we need from our 4-H leaders and our FFA advisors is they go in and they log in as a FFA advisor or 4-H leader, and they actually double check all of your different entries, and that's like the old signature to our old paper entries. And it's really important that they double check and that they let us know that you've completed your project, that you've completed all of the requirements for you to show at the fair. So make sure that they are aware that you have done this. It's just a quick phone call or email, or text. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm not going to go through the payment options just because we're online, but if you have any questions, please let our office know. The contact information is below in this video. If you haven't checked up on some of the new rules, we have a 1-page sheet that's been shared on Facebook. We'll make sure it gets shared through the comments below. And otherwise, check out the lines for leaders and other information coming out through the Canyon County Extension Office. And we'll see you at fair.